From the Kolkata studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 9, powered by Century Laminates, Citroën and Toshiba.
Good evening and welcome to CBI Special Court has today effectively dropped all the proceedings against IPS officer GL Singhal, retired Deputy SP Tarun Barot and Assistant Sub-Inspector Chaudhary in the Ishrat Jahan encounter case. It has taken 17 years, viewers. But the truth has been vindicated and justice has been done. But the campaign of lies that these police officers had to undergo in the Ishrat Jahan case cannot and will not be forgotten. It was in 2004 that Lashkar terrorist Ishrat Jahan, Lashkar terrorist Javed Sheikh alias Pranesh Pillai, Lashkar terrorist Amjad Ali, Akbar Ali Rana and Zishan Johar were neutralized for plotting an attack in Gujarat. A terrorist attack, viewers, a terrorist attack. And what came next were politically driven claims that Ishrat Jahan was not a terrorist, that she was an innocent college-going girl. She was called a Shaheed. Owaisi in parliament called himself the brother of Ishrat Jahan. And Chidambaram, as Home Minister, was diluting her terror antecedents and affidavits. The lobby came together and called a counter-terror operation to secure India, cold-blooded murder. It was just like Batla. The lobby withstands with the terrorists so openly, so brazenly, so unashamedly. They published articles on why, quote, why nationalism cannot cover up lies on Ishrat's killing. And they made a chant called Justice for Ishrat, Justice for Kasab, Justice for Afzal Guru, Justice for Ishrat. Open support for terrorists and terrorism. And today when the court in a 37-page order has said there is no question of a fake encounter and has called the terror operatives terrorists, it is time, I believe, to point the finger back at them. Point the finger back at them and call out and expose each one who has made it a hobby to sympathize, legitimize and provide some kind of a social validity to terrorists and terrorism. No more of it. No more of making Ishrat Jahan a victim. No more tears for the Batla House terrorists. No more slogans of Afzal hum sharminda hai, tere qatil zinda hai. No more. Let the bleeding hearts hear the roar tonight. Nation first. No compromise, viewers. That's my first debate tonight. A big story that cannot be covered up, the Ishrat case vindication. Debate number 1 and debate number 2 this evening, viewers. Parambir is completely cornered in court. He's trying to swivel this way and that, but the lack of credibility has become an obvious issue. Debate number 3 tonight. The extortion diary out, the Republic Media Network special investigating team leaving from the front on this. All this and more is coming up, and here are the headlines. Here are the headlines this Wednesday evening on the debate tonight. "17 years after the encounter, the court exonerates all officers in the Ishrat Jahan case." Second setback to the lobby and Congress after Batla. The court says Ishrat was a terrorist. Scurrying here and there, but Parambir completely cornered. The Bombay High Court tells him you are not above the law. Republic SIT leads with the news breaks. NIA gets the extortion diary from the arrested constable. Did Vaze extort from 32 bars and clubs in Mumbai? Agency searches for 8 Vazigate car. Sources say black Audi was used moments before Mansukh's alleged murder. And countdown begins for the biggest battle of 2021. More security deployed as Nandigram goes to vote on Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, from Ishrat to Batla, we have all seen a similar pattern. An attempt to villainize our forces, create a wave of sympathy for terrorists and terrorism. Personally, let me tell you viewers, I am shocked at the brazen manner in which these groups have been operating. Just shocked. They carry out a campaign of lies for decades on end. When the truth comes out, they hide in their rabbit holes, like ostriches, their heads buried in the sand of their own lies. Ishrat was a terrorist, viewers. I have covered this particular story for years. The lobby fought us all. Today the lobby is hiding. The Congress used this case to target Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. Today the truth is out. And they have nowhere to hide. Here are the facts and then we debate.
On June 15, 2004, on the outskirts of Ahmedabad, 4 people were shot dead. Pranesh Pillai, Amjad Ali Akbar Ali Rana, Zishan Johar and Ishrat Jahan were encountered by Gujarat police after credible leads of a terror plot. 17 years later, a special CBI court has discharged 3 more officers, G.L. Singhal, Tarun Barot and Anaju Chaudhary in the Ishrat encounter case.
A special CBI court has today discharged the officers in the Ishrat Jahan 2004 case 17 years later. The court has today also said there is nothing on record to show that the Ishrat Jahan encounter and the people, the accused, were not terrorists and the IB inputs were not genuine. Hence, it is curtains down on a case that started 17 years earlier, and finally, the trial in the case has come to an end.
With this hearing, the court has indicated that the encounter was genuine and has exonerated all officers who were persecuted in the case.
Ishrat Jahan was terrorist and Javed Sheikh was also terrorist. These 2 Indians, they gave the shelter to 2 foreigners, that is the Pakistani terrorists, Zishan Johar and Amjad Ali. These 2 terrorists came from Pakistan, and these 2 Indians, they supported them, they gave shelter and they did recce together. And our encounters were right, but whatever the cases which were registered against us by CBI were fake, and that trend has been vindicated.
For 17 years, this case has been shrouded in heavy politics. The Congress and the lobby used the case to corner Narendra Modi and Amit Shah and projected Ishrat as an innocent girl from Mumbai murdered by duty-bound police.
We were targeted because there were a zero tolerance of terrorism in Gujarat. We were targeted because we were loyal to our duties. And we were targeted because there were some hidden political agenda at the relevant time. But there was an evil political agenda to the extent to topple the elected government of the state.
But with the court giving a clean chit to the officers, it's a massive embarrassment for those who used this case for political mileage.
काउंटर पहले करवाने वाले यही लोग हैं, क्योंकि आईबी की रिपोर्ट थी. आईबी आपके सीधा प्रधानमंत्री कार्यालय से चलती है और उसके बाद उसको केस को घुमाकर झूठ बोलने वाले भी यही लोग हैं और यही लोग जो हैं देशभक्तों के खिलाफ खड़े हैं. ये बात दुनिया को पता होनी चाहिए.
From Batla conviction to Ishrat case vindication. In 15 days, the lobby that used these cases to compromise national security have been given a stunning response by the judiciary. Let's debate.
I don't want to look at this only in terms of micro details. In fact, I want an apology from all the people who used the Ishrat Jahan case for the last so many years. And why did they use it? Why Madhukeshwar? Because it was a convenient way to target Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. Because when you began to realize that Narendra Modi and Amit Shah are running Gujarat very efficiently, that they are the rising stars in politics, you needed a way to target them. So you built up this narrative, and it suited your overall national narrative of supporting terrorism. So, to target Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, you were willing to support terrorists. To target Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, falsely, you were on the side of the Lashkar-e-Toiba. That is the hashtag Ishrat Truth. I opened the debate with Madhu, but I want to introduce everyone. Gaurav Bhatia, N.K. Amin. N.K. Amin, former IPS, one of the Gujarat police officers discharged in the Ishrat Jahan case. General Bakshi, Colonel R.S.N. Singh, Yatin Oza, Iftikhar Misgar, Abdul Razak, Atikur, and Danish Quresh. Madhu, just let's look at the big picture first. What was the intent?
May I come in or no? Okay. Hello?
Yes.
Hello, Arnab, may I come in? May I come in?
Yes.
Okay. Arnab, it's not just
please.
that they wanted to target Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, which they did in the most horrific manner. Imagine sending Gujarat Home Minister to jail and externing him from the state. Why? Because he was doing a good job in tackling terrorism. Imagine demanding death penalty for Modi. All through, that was their slogan, death penalty. So they put them through hellfire. But the man against whom there is pile of evidence for having not only created fake Hindu terror narrative, but also gone out of his way as Home Minister in the UPA government, namely Chidambaram, he was protecting all these people. He was building all kinds of justifications, and from Kasab to everybody, not only they were torturing Colonel Purohits and Sadhvi Pragyas, patriotic people, but they were actually, which means when you target Colonel Purohit, you're compromising military intelligence. You're not just compromising or targeting Narendra Modi. So the plot is more serious. They're acting as Pakistani agents. And that's the sad story of this country. Even after the bloody partition of India, Pakistan is running not only the political narrative in this country, not only the course curriculum in this country, not only deciding the textbook and history curriculum and every other curriculum in this country, but also deciding how the Savarkars have to be vilified, defamed, put aside, and the people who are to be rewarded are the Sohrabuddins and the Ishrat Jahans, and even Kasab would have been projected as a Hindu terrorist, RSS terrorist, because he came with good alibi wearing all the Hindu symbols, but for the fact that a Braveheart, a policeman arrested him alive. Now, why is Chidambaram not on trial? Why is Chidambaram not in jail? I ask. I want to know why is the BJP not put Chidambaram to trial. It's far more serious than his financial scams. We can still deal with his loot money.
There are people who have
looted from India.
There are people. There are people. Allow me, please. Just a minute. Can I have everyone on the other side? Anand, we are moving on the right hand side, please. And our question is this: I'm reading the kind of lies that were printed. Somebody called Rana Ayub said, nationalism cannot cover up the lies on Ishrat's killing. Who is this person? Who writes this kind of thing? And now that the truth is out, do people like this put out a corrigendum? The nation wants to know. Then they called it the political assassination of Ishrat Jahan. Oh my God. Have you seen this one, Gaurav Arya? Apparently somebody wrote an article published in The Wire something in. The political assassination of Ishrat Jahan, almost making, Gaurav Arya, Ishrat Jahan sound like a great political leader of India. And I can't believe it. I just cannot believe it. They called it a cold-blooded political murder. The court has given its judgment. They are not apologizing. Why aren't they apologizing? Yatin Oza, please tell Gaurav Bhatia, what does an apology cost? What does an apology cost?
Kind of judgment.
Yatin Oza, tell Gaurav Bhatia, what does an apology cost?
Being faded.
Any decent person who will apologize today.
The Lordship says there is nothing.
Have they ever
Nothing to suggest that the victims were not terrorists.
Let Yatin
So
ji
there
make
should be
his point.
something to suggest.
Yatin and Gaurav, please.
Please
Thank
ask
you.
this person to be quiet. Yeah.
Fortunately, Arnab, Mr. Amin is also in the panel discussion. Right from day one, I have stood with the police officers.
Yes.
Reason number one is they are all very honest, upright, and above all, very brave officers. It is they, not one individual, but all those in one or the other cases have been roped in, are instrumental in bringing peace, harmony, and making state complete terrorist free. Apology, yes. If I have done something wrong, I will apologize publicly. But that apology also requires a lot of guts, which I find is not coming forward. Without going into the political angle that Madhuji forwarded, I am really disturbed. I am really asking questions to myself. How will these police officers get back those 5-7 years that they have spent in jail? Incarceration is one of the harshest thing that in the Indian society one has to face. Even in a small case between neighbors fight, we see people talking that police had come to his house. Police took him. Nobody applies the mind that it was merely a fight between two neighbors. Here you have lodged them into a jail on a charge of murder. Look at how many years they have spent. Nobody wants to discuss this. What pain and sufferings they have undergone. And for what? You waste judicial time. You waste time of CBI. And CBI, also role of CBI then is questionable. A true and honest investigation would have exonerated them. And it's most unfortunate that our court's time, our executive time, everything is wasted after such hopeless absolutely hopeless and non-existent.
Now, there's another thought I have, Yatin Oza, as I listen to you tonight. And my only thought, and I will go to N.K. Amin, but I want to go to Gaurav Bhatia. But before that, I have a point to make here today. Just I'll take one sentence, Gaurav. I think the time has come in this country to ask ourselves the most relevant question which emerges from this, and I take an example, July 6, 2013, an individual with a blue-ticked handle called Kavita Krishnan says, "Join us for justice for Ishrat Jahan, 5 p.m. Constitution Club, 2nd floor, followed by candlelight vigil." My question is only this, viewers, and I hope you hear me on this. In this country, if we are to achieve true greatness, can we allow candlelight vigils for terrorists in the open in our national capital or anywhere else anymore? And my view on this is, unless we to put a stop to it, can we allow open campaigns for terrorists, for terrorism therefore by default, for terrorist ideology, for terrorist purpose and for terrorist intent? If we in the name of our democracy allow some people to misuse our democracy to build campaigns for terrorism, our country will suffer. Gaurav Bhatia.
So, Arnav, let me start by saying that last 15 days, the truth has emerged and it is staring at the faces of pseudo-liberals, people who used to call Ishrat Jahan Desh ki beti. And let me say it very categorically after today's verdict. Ishrat Jahan is no Desh ki beti. She was an Atangwadi, a terrorist. Kanhaiya Kumar and Burhan Wani are no Desh ka beta,
yes.
rather they are destroying
perfect.
the social fabric of our country. And people who say Afzal Guru is actually a terrorist again. And remember, this called his hanging a judicial killing. All these people need to come out, and they don't just need to apologize. They should be punished under law. And these people, for misleading the people of our country, for jeopardizing our security, should be behind bars. Second, a person like Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji, who were actually targeted, and petty politics came into the entire activity of the investigating agencies just to settle political scores. If it was not for the sterling character of Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji, the country would not have leaders like them. So I think the Congress party also has a lot of answering to do. Third point, they are demoralizing our police forces. Honest police officers, and the court today notices that all acts were in discharge of their official duty. So by punishing them, just like Colonel Purohit lost valuable 10 years of his life, these people also lost 5, 6, 7 years. Who is to give them those 7 valuable years? Should they not be compensated? And the blame squarely lies with the Congress party. And last, I would like to say, what about risking the lives of the CMs if they don't belong to your party? Narendra Modi ji was a target. There was an assassination plan, but everything was tailor-made to suit their political narrative. So they can even stoop to a level that they can risk the life of a chief minister if he doesn't belong to the Congress party. And that is why I say it is shame on them. And they go by the religion of the accused or a terrorist. If they see the terrorist is a Muslim, they would try to portray him as a martyr, and innocent Hindus are called terrorists just because it suits their agenda of Hindu terrorism. And this is shameful.
Before I bring in N.K. Amin on this, who is a former IPS senior police officer who's been discharged in the case, who's been targeted in the case, I want to provide a word of caution tonight. My dear viewers of the Republic Media Network and viewers of my debate, today there are attempts to mislead you. There are some web portals funded by God knows whom, and I'm told that some of them have American citizens as their editors, which are carrying articles saying no one killed Ishrat. What a goddamn lie. The fact of the matter is, no one killed Ishrat is a lie in the masked as a headline. The fact is that she was killed, and she was killed in an encounter righteously done. I am telling you, what do you mean somebody should be held responsible? If a terrorist is killed, we are happy for it. If a terrorist is killed, we are happy for it. If a terrorist is killed, we are happy. You should be happy too. It was not a fake encounter. Correct yourself. Stop shouting. Stop shouting Razak. Stop shouting Razak. RSN, the bottom line is, this was I read from the court order. I read from the court order. Unlike you, I have faith in the law. I don't abuse the law. I don't put out false headlines. I'm not part of a blue tick false flag operation out there carried out by people who are supporters of terrorism and who therefore by default are supporters of Ishrat Jahan. I will continue to say that Ishrat Jahan was and is a terrorist. Stop supporting terrorists. We are staring you back. We are pointing the finger straight back at you right now. Note where the finger is pointed. We are pointing it at you. Ishrat Jahan was a terrorist. You glamorized a terrorist. Shame on you. Shame on people like you, Atikur, who glamorize terrorists. Stop glamorizing terrorists. And you call Republic Media Network right-wing because we take on terrorists? because we exposed the terrorists? I will quote from the order. Okay, RSN, you can go on. RSN.
Does not mean that
she was a terrorist.
Yeah.
She was part of a terrorist operation.
Just. I thought she was killed along. I thought she was killed along. I thought she was killed along with the Pakistanis. I thought she was, she went to, Lucknow and various places, gallivanting with them. And let me tell you, listen, it's a very, very important discussion. It's a very important discussion today. I should not be drowned. I should not be drowned today. I'm making a very serious point.
RSN is on the debate right now. Please come down, everyone.
ज्ञान लेना चाहते हैं आप अगर ज्ञान लेना
RSN is
चाहते
speaking
हैं
right now.
I don't want to be. I never interfere in others. मुझे बोलने दीजिए एक मिनट. मैं कह रहा हूं कि
calm down, everyone. Calm down.
Jihadi and Indian politician nexus started right. Pakistan Jihadi and Indian politician nexus. It started in '93. In 2004, it came to the level where they they asked for the services of Lashkar
you should have proved that in the
through
court.
Dawood Ibrahim and
now
ISI.
After these people have been acquitted, you are saying that she is a terrorist. Why did you not speak about this all these days? Why did you not speak?
Yes, she's a terrorist. Have you read the court order? Have you read the court order? Have you read the court order?
Sir,
no, the anti-national.
Have you read the court order today? Have you read the court order? You come without reading the court order. Do I have to read it out to you?
I feel we are ruled by power, not by law.
अगर आप हमको नहीं बोलने
doesn't matter what the hell you feel. Have you read the court order?
No one.
I feel.
Sohrabuddin Sheikh. No one. Sir,
if you allow me to proceed, I can bring out some brilliant points.
What do you mean? Who killed? If a terrorist is killed, we are happy.
If you allow me to.
Pakistan.
Thank you. RSN, continue, please. 1 minute. I'm going to intervene in a minute.
Talk about justice.
Yeah.
Volume down. Change. Switch, Anand.
There is a constant tanpura.
Being a very good journalist, you must.
There is no, she's got justice.
एक मिनट, sir, please, I beseech you, I implore you to allow me to speak. She was recruited by the Lashkar-e-Toiba to carry out an assassination by suicide bombing.
What rubbish you are talking? Recruited by Lashkar-e-Toiba and all. She can be arrested. Do you know what was the intent of IB? Do you know intelligence was tracing since 100 kilometers?
अरे छोड़ा यार, बकवास कर रहा है.
RSN, please don't be angry. Come back to the debate. Calm down. Calm down, RSN. Calm down. Calm down, RSN.
सबसे बकवास
RSN, calm down.
आप कर रहे हो.
RSN has lost his cool, and you were intervening. It was not necessary. He knows about the case. Thank you. I'll get him back. I want to go to NK Amin before that. RSN, thank you. I'm going to get RSN back. 1 second. I want to go to NK Amin. NK Amin, please. And before I go to NK Amin, I want to make one point. Calm down, please. Everyone's tempers are very high today. Rightly so. Madhu, I'm coming to you. I'll make a couple of points. Is it not true that the Lashkar-e-Toiba's mouthpiece Ghazwa Times acknowledged Ishrat Jahan as a Lashkar-e-Toiba operative? Why was this hidden by the lobby? Is it not true that former Home Secretary G.K. Pillai said that the Congress government got a reference to a Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist group deleted from an affidavit filed in the Supreme Court naming Ishrat Jahan as a terrorist? Why are these facts being hidden? NK Amin, I know you've been made to wait a long time in this debate. What is all this campaign of lies cost you? And what are your thoughts tonight?
I know, first of all, if we refer page 35 of the order of the Honorable Special Court, it speaks a lot that the complainant the then IPS officer, Mr. R.R. Verma, had a carnal knowledge that the group was a terrorist group. He had an information, and that is reflected in the FIR and investigation. That is very sufficient to end the investigation then and there. So the CBI or the investigator, they missed the train and they pulled it unnecessarily. Second thing, that why they did so. They did so for the political motive. Politics is not my subject, but they try to make a stare to reach to the top brasses of the elected government after the encounter, that if police is put at the quotient, they would speak something, or they would try to save themselves this way or that way. So that plan fails, because I thanks my senior advocate Yatin Oza, who is my guru in the profession now, which I am also doing. They could not succeed because there was no political angle in Gujarat that we were dependent to ask somebody who is a political master and head. We were on our own. Our seniors were there. So the encounter was 1000% genuine. The cases lost against us were very, very fake. And even starting from FIR to the evidence, it was tampered. That is my say. And during those years, individually and severally, Gujarat police officers, starting from a junior officer to the top at the additional DGP, DG level, we suffered a lot, mentally, physically. Our family suffered. We lost our career, which was very bright. Gujarat was heading much in a cyber crime, which we were leading. I have no words to express that pain and agony, but it is digested with the advent of time. But the unique design of all those, there are opposition in politics, but opposition ought not to have gone to this extent that they targeted the honest police officers. They targeted the person, character of the police officer, and what is the yield. They could not achieve anything. We put ourselves to the flow of river, and we were so hard nut to crack because we were right. And some of us, they lost their children. Some of us, they lost their wives. But we never broke down. They tried everything before the election, 2014. We could not get the bail. As an advocate, I do not hesitate to say that the bail is a discretion, but our was a case of discharge on instance. But we could not get the justice. The delayed justice is welcome from my colleagues, for my buddies, to whom I love like my brothers. And we are yet a team. We are a team of citizens. We are a team of policemen in service and ex-police officers. So I welcome this verdict, and now I wish that in India, all throughout and in world, no police officer should face this.
Mr. Amin, I want to say something to you tonight. Before actually, I'll let General Bakshi express his sentiments because he's watching very closely as you say this. But I think that whether people like it or not, you are a hero today. People like you, the people you describe as your team, you are heroes because you had the entire central government of the Congress party, Chidambaram and everyone out there to nail you. What you have suffered, only you have gone through and you know. And I know you must have read this judgment many times today. This is your vindication. What I will do today, Mr. Amin, for you, on our behalf, is that I will put all the relevant pages of this judgment in the public domain.
Please.
And I will request everyone watching the program today to reach page 35 where it says the concerned police officers of Ahmedabad who were doing and discharging their official duties. Number of anti-national terrorist activities was spread across India. There is no question of any fake encounter. And therefore it is clear, page 36, that the act which is alleged to have been done by the accused was in discharge of their duties and purported to be in discharge of their duties. Because I believe that, like you, Colonel Srikant Purohit has also been targeted. False charges were put by a bunch of political desperados in the Congress government to fix everyone who they thought came in their way. And some people, some journalists, so-called journalists, made their careers out of this. The only justice you can get is that the people of the country know that you are right. So I'm going to put this up in public domain.
But trend started. It's a shame that in Indian politics a trend started that they started focusing and targeting internal security keepers and border security keepers. We could save our life because the border security keeper BSF.
Well, let me tell you one thing.
Commando.
Let me tell you this, sir. You know, I have personal experience of this. Maybe not as long as you and but I know this. When the state goes against you, when they put in frame lies. I've also been to jail. We understand we empathize with you, but yours was for a larger cause. You were fighting against terrorism openly. When those who fight against terrorism, General Bakshi, go through this, they deserve I am saying all the people who built a narrative, where are they? Why are they not being punished, General Bakshi? The people who did candlelight vigils for terrorists in the middle of the national capital. Yes, General Bakshi, go ahead, sir, go ahead. RSN, welcome back. General Bakshi, go ahead.
Last three to four decades, the Indian security agencies have been taken over the coals.
Yes, General Bakshi, go ahead, sir, go ahead. RSN, welcome back. General Bakshi, go ahead.
Last three to four decades, the Indian security agencies have been taken over the coals by a concerted international conspiracy with strong backing at home. Foreign funded NGOs, liberally supplied with cash. They could hire the best lawyers. They could hire the top of the cream of creme de la creme of Lothian's media. And they went into an overdrive to demonize the security forces, to go for those cops, honest cops, who were doing their job, fighting the terrorists. They demonized them, they vilified them, they did their best to victimize them, put them behind the bars. A concerted attempt to demoralize our police and security forces who were battling terror. Here was an attempt to assassinate the upcoming chief minister of the Indian state of Gujarat. The politicos jumped into the fray to ensure that he would be assassinated and to go for anyone and everyone who tried to do his duty by defending their legitimate chief minister, duly elected chief minister of the state. Not only in Gujarat, Arnab, in Jammu and Kashmir, we have seen this, an attempt to demonize.
Where are those politicos tonight, General Bakshi? Where are they?
The security forces. Arnab, they need to be taken over the coals. They need to be exposed to the people of India for the way in which these Mir Jafars,
I ask you, where are those politicos tonight? I'm asking Gaurav Bhatia, come back to the debate. Where are those politicos now? Where are the politicos now, Gaurav Bhatia? Gaurav Bhatia is on the debate. Gaurav Bhatia is on the debate with Razak. Gaurav Bhatia is on the debate. Where are those politicos now? I say, wasn't it P. Chidambaram? Wasn't it P. Chidambaram who as Home Minister diluted the affidavit in the Ishrat case? Where is P. Chidambaram tonight? Did he not dilute the affidavit in the Ishrat Jahan case? Gaurav Bhatia, let's cut the chase.
officer.
And let me ask the question. Let Gaurav Bhatia come into the debate. Of course, it's about P. Chidambaram.
Has been held in Gujarat. Why? Not a single terrorist has come from Pakistan.
Okay, can somebody stop shouting like this, and can I respond now? My name is Gaurav Bhatia. You might be brother of Ishrat Jahan. Speak in your own turn. Please be quiet.
I want an answer of the question, Mr. Bhatia. That after the arrest of this so-called brave officer,
all fingers are pointing towards traitors like you. Okay, Rudali gang की फूफियां कहाँ हैं आज अर्णब? Rudali gang की फूफियां कहाँ हैं? And why should Sonia Gandhi not take the...
Gaurav Bhatia is on the debate. Let him speak. Thank you very much. We are on the debate. Where are the politicals now is my next question.
Why should Sonia Gandhi not resign? Because she was crying when terrorists were brought down in the Bhatla House encounter. And in this case also, let me tell you that the Congress government misled the Gujarat High Court and they gave them wrong information that David Coleman Headley had not mentioned the name of Ishrat Jahan. So one thing is very clear, Arnab. Please ask the gentleman to be quiet. Please be quiet. Speak during your own turn. Are you brother of Ishrat Jahan? I will say it very clearly. Ishrat Jahan was a terrorist. And if you try to defend a terrorist, you become a sympathizer of a terrorist. The nation will not tolerate that. I have only one question to ask you. Please tell me, how dare you people doubt the judiciary of our country for a terrorist? How dare you people that you doubt the judiciary? The judiciary has given a verdict after examining all the evidence. And let me tell you, the judiciary of the country is the best in the world. And what have they said? Arnab, this is not a case where the charges
dominated
have
by
been
the political party.
Discharge. A discharge means that there isn't even a prima facie.
This is all Gujarat model of doing the things in the country.
क्यों ऐसे बेकार में आके चिल्लाने लगते हैं? अपनी इज्जत का फलूदा करते हैं. आप लोगों को पता है?
गुजरात मॉडल.
आप अपनी बारी में बोलिएगा.
गुजरात मॉडल.
इशरत जहान आपकी बहन लगती है.
गुजरात मॉडल.
वो
कहाँ पहुंचा दिया मुल्क को गौरव भाटिया? कहाँ ले लिया गवर्नमेंट को? कल आपकी सरकार नहीं होगी तो आपको भी किसी फॉर्म हाउस में लिया जाएगा. कल आपकी सरकार नहीं होगी.
गौरव भाटिया,
tell me how many pages are there? What is the name of the judge? Can you tell me? मैं बहस करूंगा आज आपसे. बताइए, जज का नाम बताइए. अरे बिना पढ़े लिखे आ जाते हैं अर्नब ये लोग. किनसे आप हमारी डिबेट कराते हैं? बताइए.
मुसीबत में डाल दिया इस मुल्क को.
जज का नाम बताइए और कितने पेजेस का जजमेंट है. दो बताइए सवाल. चलिए.
राहुल शर्मा का बता दो.
कौन है?
अरे राहुल शर्मा का बता दो.
बोलिए.
Who supplied the call data? अरे उसका क्या हुआ? राहुल शर्मा के बयान का क्या हुआ? अरे सप्लीमेंट्री चार्जशीट का क्या हुआ जो आज पेश ही नहीं हुआ? What about the supplement? You are an advocate, tell me, sir. On what grounds? On what grounds?
पुलिस वालों को सोचा है.
1 minute.
You have not.
Thank you, please. I am
anti-social elements. That is why people are ready to thrash you with a cane. You have no logic, no reasoning. Do you know the court today, Arnab? The court today, I just want to read a line for the benefit of the viewers. The court today has said, and I quote, therefore, seriousness and gravity of information cannot be ignored by high-rank police officers. This is a line in addition to what you have already cited from the order. It was a sensitive information. The police was keeping a tab on these terrorists and they acted to save their lives and to do their duty. Why do these people have a problem with that? You don't trust the police. You don't trust the judiciary. You don't trust the Prime Minister. You don't trust the ex-CM. Why? Who do you trust? Kasab? You trust Afzal Guru? You trust Sohrabuddin? You trust Ishrat Jahan?
Thank you. Madhu Kishwar is also on night now. And on this point in the debate, at this point in the debate, I must remind our viewers tonight that Vrinda Karat, CPM leader Madhu Kishwar, Vrinda Karat had actually inaugurated an ambulance service and they called it in 2011 an ambulance service. They called it Shaheed Ishrat Jahan Ambulance Service. Shaheed Ishrat Jahan, 2011. Asaduddin Owaisi, June 2014, called himself brother of Ishrat Jahan.
Yes, we are proud of that. That Asadul University is outside that. He is the brother of Ishrat Jahan.
May I come in?
Madhu Kishwar is on the debate right now. Madhu Kishwar, RSN, I'm coming to you. Madhu.
Yes.
Kapil Sibal says. Kapil Sibal said that Narendra Modi and Amit Shah should be arrested in the Ishrat Jahan case. Kapil Sibal said it.
Why don't you talk about the Metropolitan Magistrate SP Town? Why don't you talk about the Metropolitan Magistrate of 2009 report?
Madhu.
Wherein this in black and white said that this is a fake encounter.
बाकी देशों में देशद्रोहियों को सरकार सजा देती है. हमारे देश में तो देशद्रोही सरकार चला रहे होते हैं. होम मिनिस्टर हमारे देशद्रोही निकले, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री यूपीए के देशद्रोही निकले, सुपर प्राइम मिनिस्टर इटालियन क्वीन देशद्रोही निकली, हमारे कितने मिनिस्टर कैबिनेट के कितने कॉम्प्रोमाइज थे. देशद्रोही जब सरकार चला रहे हैं और पाकिस्तान के चाइना के इशारे पे नाच रहे हैं, अब कौन किसको सजा देगा. और आज के दिन इसीलिए केपीएस गिल नहीं इस देश में पुलिस में आपको मिलेंगे, परमवीर सिंह ही मिलते हैं. वैसे ही कॉम्प्रोमाइज दरिंदे मिलते हैं पुलिस में, क्योंकि अच्छे ऑफिसर्स को आपने दरकिनार कर दिया, जेलों में भिजवाया, ये इनकाउंटर किलिंग्स के या झूठे चार्जेस लगा के. कविता कृष्णन को आपने बहुत सटीक कोट किया था, पर मैं जानना चाहती हूँ, वो सेल्फ डिक्लेयर्ड माओइस्ट लेनिनिस्ट पार्टी की जनरल सेक्रेटरी है. माओइस्ट लेनिनिस्ट पार्टी बैन क्यों नहीं हुई? मुस्लिम लीग बैन क्यों नहीं हुई? ये सवाल सिर्फ मोदी शाह बीजेपी का नहीं है. मोदी केवल बहाना है, असली एजेंडा देश को भारत को गिराना है, हमको तबाही के रास्ते में ले जाना है, देश के टुकड़े टुकड़े करने हैं. मोदी केवल बहाना है. चिदम्बरम ट्रायल पे क्यों नहीं है? इटालियन क्वीन ट्रायल पे क्यों नहीं है? वो सब लोग जिन्होंने इशरत जहान का हवाला देकर
तो कल तुम्हारी
इस देश के मुख्यमंत्री को फांसी पर चढ़ाने की कोशिश की. अमित शाह होम मिनिस्टर को, सीनियर पुलिस ऑफिसर्स को जेल में सड़ाया, सीनियर मिलिट्री इंटेलिजेंस ऑफिसर्स को जेल में टॉर्चर किया. वो आज जेल में क्यों नहीं है? कोई केस भी नहीं है उन पे. गौरव भाटिया, केवल आपको टीवी पर चिल्लाने से नहीं बनेगा. मैं चिल्ला सकती हूँ, मैं सरकार के बाहर हूँ. आपकी सरकार कुछ करती नहीं, आप टीवी पे आके बड़ी बड़ी बातें कर देते हैं. सरकार चिदम्बरम को क्यों नहीं ट्राई कर रही? एक भी केस इस सवाल पे सिर्फ पैसे का है, क्यों नहीं है?
क्यों नहीं है? Since you have leveled a charge against the government, let me tell you the difference. How has Colonel Purohit got justice? It is because of the BJP government. Let me make it very clear. Yasin Malik charge sheeted.
Oh no,
No, madam, this is not done.
No,
you leveled the charge.
Up for him.
You should have the patience to listen to my answer. And if you are weak, then you can't take an answer.
Your party did not stand up for him.
Because I think we can only have a meaningful discussion when you listen to the answer.
Your party did not stand up for him.
Okay, madam, I know my facts. I can tell you.
He is still under trial.
He is.
Now, Madhu, hear the other side and then I have to go to RSI.
He's on bail.
Arnab, I think, this is a little unfair.
No, but he's wearing the uniform and serving the country.
Yes, please. Okay, so I will tell her that when Colonel Purohit got bail, what was the stand? You please check, read the order. And we have stood with Colonel Purohit. The party has. Second, Yasin Malik charge sheeted.
Only after many others or many of us ran a campaign for him.
Arnab,
when he was arrested, you knew it were fake charges.
And because I respect her personally, I will not like to shout over her.
All right. I get your point. You're saying the government should do more. I get your point, Madhu. I get your point. Gaurav, respond. Gaurav, continue.
So,
he's still on trial. His trial is not over.
Listen.
He's only on bail.
Okay.
How many years?
Can I respond?
Why is he still only
Why are you so
bail?
disturbed with the facts that I'm placing? It is sad. If your questions have strength and I'm trying to answer them, you should listen to the response. My response is simple. I'm citing a few examples. I can give you many.
I'm listening,
okay, Zakir Naik.
But
please,
don't
madam.
claim credit
No,
where
no,
it's
this is unfortunate. I am telling you.
Continue, we're wasting time. I have to go to RSN also.
BJP has been lax,
I wish to
Gaurav
respond.
Bhatia. We are on
it's
the
very
same
easy
side.
to just level
Take your point. Come on, move on.
Answer.
And even as opposition party has
Arnab,
been lax.
I think today Madhukeshwar ji doesn't want to face the truth. But I will again try my last attempt. First, Yasin Malik charge sheeted. For more than 2 decades, he was meeting the former Prime Minister.
कौन सुनेगा?
हम तो क्यों नहीं सुनेंगे? हम तो ये सुनिश्चित करेंगे कि सोनिया गांधी जो बेल पे है वो जेल में पहुंचे। हमने ही सुनिश्चित किया। P. Chidambaram was behind bars. Are you aware Zakir Naik's property?
I think
seized. We have ensured.
Okay, now we are getting stuck. My last point to RSN. RSN, I need to give you time. At the end, RSN, what's the lesson of all this, RSN? What's the takeaway?
क्यों नहीं ट्रायल पे है? इसका जवाब दीजिए।
One minute. The takeaway is the way, Pakistan, jihadi and Indian politician nexus that has built over the years. If when Ishrat Jahan failed to carry out this, assassination conspiracy of Narendra Modi, then 26/11 was planned in cahoots with its politicians in Lutyens, Delhi. And to facilitate that, sir, the entire war room of India was hijacked. It was in Pakistan. Do you know that? Madhukar Gupta was the Home Secretary. His entire team was there. When 26/11 was going on, they were at Murree. And the IB officer who was with them, Rajendra Kumar, he may not agree, but he got a whiff of something. There's something wrong, and he came back. And sir, please check your records. During the same day, when 26/11 was going on, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, who was then foreign minister and now foreign minister, was addressing the Indian Women's Press Corps, press corps, wherever their office is there.
Who killed Ishrat Jahan?
One minute, yeah. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Justice is still lacking here.
Well, I thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 1. On debate number 2, the latest turn was Hooligan. And why? Parambir was questioned so harshly in court today. On the other side in a few minutes.